thing. But I'm here to play some more Weekend Warrior mono faction drafts here while we still got them. I had a lot of fun with these the other day, and I had the most success with Tempest. Like, my Tempest deck was just insane. I got a bunch of Borean Stormweavers, so wanted to see if I couldn't just run that back and play that again. Static Shock is meh. Yeah, I think all these cards are pretty meh. This card got changed a lot, so I don't actually know what the hell this thing even does. 2 damage to each creature, plus it gets to block. It's a lot of things to consider. We're just going to take the only good card in the pack, Emberwind Invoker. We're going to grab some mobility cards within these factions. And maybe we could go a little bit more of a defender route this time. Take Flame Rift Instigator over Stonebrand, because you want to grab the creature first. Going to grab Warbringer Uranti, though, over Steam Sentinel. You just always want any Warbringer Urantis you can grab, because being able to affect battle in multiple lanes is always good. We'll grab Firelight Hunter. It's not great, but it exists. We might be able to do something with it. Oh, wow. And then we have the choice of 2 equally shitty spells. This is like... yeah, this is like a +1/+1. Wow, this is so bad. I guess we're going to take Aquatic Embrace. Aquatic Embrace could come up sometimes, but yeah, generally pretty bad. Magma Hound is good, though. That'll save us. That's our first good card of the draft. So, happy to see Magma Hound. And then, alright, now I'm remembering why I thought Tempest was going to be the worst. It turned out Tempest was like our best deck when I drafted like 5 or 6 Borean Stormweavers. However, I think you're equally as likely to just wind up with a bunch of shit like this. Oh god, am I going to take Talon Stampede because it affects multiple lanes? I guess I am. I mean, all these other cards don't even do anything, right? Plus attack this turn. Yeah, that's not even a card. Oh, right. Is Yeti Warcaller good? I don't think it is. No. Alright, we're taking Talon Stampede. Oh, God. Glacial Crush also doesn't even work anymore. Yeah, because they took out that synergy. So, we're taking Wind Primordial. Used to be, at least in Mono Faction Draft, there's a good card, Ice Shard Berserker. In Mono Faction Draft, you could kind of play up on the Yeti theme of giving your opponent's creatures Defender and then destroying them. Guess I'm going to take Start. I mean, maybe I could take a Glacial Crush. Like, just having 1 in the deck means I've got outs to, like, some random-ass Defender creatures that my opponents could play. But his cards are not great. Alright, we get a choice of a few different good cards here. Cardration Stoneback, actually a decent card. And I think I have to take it because I'm so low on creatures, though Conflagrate is a pretty good card as well. It affects battle in multiple lanes, and the numbers scale up reasonably well. Cardration Stoneback it is, though. Then we can grab a consistent card that consistently sucks. Man, alright. I'm off it. No more Tempest mono faction drafts. This is horrible. There's Tremor Charge for the mobility. Kind of works with Emberwind Invoker. We don't even have a single mobility card. Okay, we got 1 Wind Primordial. I'm not going to take Tremor Charge. We're going to take Torrent Acolyte and hope to make something work out of that. We can grab Flame Lance as like, I don't know. It's a spell. How does Nargath Warrior scale? It's good on levels 1 and 2, and then level 3 it falls off, as opposed to the Cinder Mystic, which is bad on level 1, and then reasonable on the other 2 levels. So I'm going to take Cinder Mystic, and we're going to hope that we can make that work here. Then I'm going to grab a Volcanic Giant. I don't know if you could really expect to win by just drafting all these cards that are just 5/5, 10/10, 15/15s. I have a feeling you can't. I have a feeling this is going to be pretty horrible. Uranti Elementalist, maybe he'll come in handy. We don't need another Talon Stampede. Alright, Cinderbound Barbarian. That's the start. This could be the start of something new right here. There's also Windborn Hellion, which is pretty good, though we have, like, 3 mobility creatures, 2 mobility creatures currently. Yeah, I'd say 2.5. Windborn Hellion is also, I don't think, as strong as Cinderbound Barbarian. I mean, Windborn Hellion can win you some games, but Cinderbound Barbarian's real strong. We grab another card that affects multiple lanes, which is pretty good, though I think we might just need some meat. And I think picking up some Stonefist Giants is one of the only ways that we're going to be able to win out. We can also take an Avalanche Guardian, which is good, and meat, and we need defenders, and it's got mobility. I'm actually going to take Avalanche Guardian here. I think this might buy us some time. What this deck really needs is some big, beefy defenders so that we don't die early on in the game. Frost Shatter Strike is a good card. It's probably better than Windcaller Shaman. Alright, there we go, baby. Uranti Warlord. That's a good one. That can help us get back in it. Though we really need some Borean Stormweavers and some other cards to go along with it. Our only Yetis are Uranti Elementalist, and I believe we grabbed one Warbringer Uranti as well. So we don't have too many Yetis to make use of this trigger. However, the trigger is still good enough just by himself. He's essentially a 6-7, 14-11, 26-17, just by himself. And if you have other Yetis, you can make some other crazy shit happen. I guess we're taking a Firemane Steed over a Spite Mage that does nothing. Here we could grab a Rhyme-Horn Charger as an underdrop. Or we could just grab Stormcaller as an underdrop. 5-8 versus 8-6. Yeah, I mean, this isn't really that great of an underdrop. I guess we just grab Stormcaller. Yeah, alright, we'll grab that. That's fine. Nothing too crazy good. Maybe we take Uranti Cryptomancer? Or Cryomancer? Otherwise, it's Spirit Frost Shaman as relatively medium-powered underdrop. Rift Lasher's cool, but you need some real mobility tricks to actually make him active. I guess I'll take Cryomancer. I've never really played with this card, and it's not super impressive, but you can kind of punish them because it's a Yeti. They'll want to block it, and then that'll turn on your things that pump attack. So, seems like it could have some reasonable options for it, and we're just going to need some level of pings. Ooh, alright, well, the good cards keep on coming. I guess we'll take Water Walker. We'll take a Stonefist Giant here. Here's some beef. And I guess I'll take Tremor Charge, because this card doesn't do anything. It lets us get in with a defender one time. Alright, we got 5 more picks. Let's get some good cards here, baby. Alright, it's not happening. I think we just take Ambusher. It's just the biggest creature, and we're going to need some type of... I'm actually going to have to aggressively level this card and hope that can get us somewhere. We can take another Frost Shatter Strike, which is going to be the pick, but not what I'm super happy to pick up. Alright, Brawler. Maybe we can make something aggressive happen. I feel like probably not, but we'll see. At the very least, it's a good underdrop as well. Okay, and then we can make something aggressive. That's like okay on the Brawler, bad on everything else. I guess when in doubt, you take a Yeti to combine with your other Yetis. And let's get one Borean Stormweaver, please. Nope, we got a Lightning Worm. Well, I guess Lightning Worm it is. Alright, this is maybe the worst pile of cards that I have drafted in the Mono Faction drafts. It's the reason I was scared to draft Tempeace, and then we had that one Tempeace deck that was just insane. But what happens a little bit with the draft algorithm is when the pools first show up, all the cards kind of have the same ability to show up, and then every time a Borean Stormweaver shows up, somebody's going to pick it. And because of that... Alright, well, this hand's pretty good. We can make some shit happen. Uranti Warlord. Oh yeah, Disian Bird Queen isn't going to get the trigger. I think we will want to play Uranti Warlord because the card is so strong. Emberwind Invoker's good, but let's just level Uranti Warlord and Avalanche Guardian and hope that this buys us some time. I could also play the Cryomancer. But I think we actually just want to level Avalanche Guardian in this deck. I think it's one of our few good cards. Oh, did you play this guy, Hergrata? And you know he's playing in a bomb deck? That's interesting. Or are you just saying that my deck is like a bomb, as in like it is like totally wrecked? Because I could see that definition as well. This deck is pretty bad. We can still make some things happen with it. We just have to not draw super unlucky, and a lot of the cards that we don't want to level can kind of function as underdrops. Here we just have like Magma Hound, Wind Primordial. Those cards can win games. Yep, alright, so this guy is playing Abominations. Ooh, Abyssal Maul on Mayete. And then will they sacrifice Abyssal Maul to kill my other thing? They will indeed. So I think we go Magma Hound, ping Contagion Lord, and then put Wind Primordial in front of Contagion Lord to kind of threaten that a little bit. You're kind of priced into not blocking against a Necreum deck. Well, that's interesting. So, apparently this guy might beat us for the majority of the game and then concede for no reason. So, that'd be a way to get a win in. It's an interesting strategy. I don't think that it's one that normally pays off, but we'll see how that works out here for my opponents. Oh, if they played that in the other order, they could have hit us for 2. And then they're going to Death Current. Alrighty. Well, we want to play an Ambusher open lane so that we can get the assault. We could also block with Ambusher, but I think we want to open lane it. And then I guess just block this with Stormcaller. It's not great, but I don't know what else we're doing. So Stormcaller it is. Yeah, let's try to get a pity concede out of this guy. I think we can do it. This deck is bad enough that I think we can make some people pity concede. Opponent's deck looks pretty good here. We can Torrent Acolyte to trade with Dr. Frankenbaum and then level Stonefist Giant. Or we can Stonefist Giant in combination with Frost Shatter Strike or Firelight Hunter. Looks like the Frost Shatter Strike might line up well against these two cards. I do like Frost Shatter Strike a decent amount. It typically lines up and can do some powerful things. We might just want to finish off both of these things. I really do want to level Stonefist Giant, kind of at any cost here. So I think let's level Stonefist Giant, and then let's clear off both of these two cards with Frost Shatter Strike. Go, wham, bam. I'm not convinced I actually like Torrent Acolyte, because putting a bunch of Ice Torrents in the deck, while good, kind of fills your deck up with some rather shitty cards. So we kept around a 5-3. Not super impressive. But we drew some good cards here. I almost want to block to take out my opponent's... Well, that's unfortunate. To take out my opponent's Abomination, but my opponent has 2 Abominations. We can't block both of them. Wowie zowie. Alright. Well, now I kind of want to block just because my opponent has too many cards out on the field. So let's go Ambusher, open lane, and then put Stonefist Giant on a Hellforged Avatar and just watch it get shrunk. Yeah, my opponent's got a lot of Abominations. Firelight Hunter's okay, but more likely Ice Shard Berserker's going to be good. We can have Ice Shard Berserker go here, Stormcaller go here. This is going to shrink and negative battle now, so we do have to clean up the Hellforged Avatar. And then the Brood Queen. Alright, so this card needs 2 more points of damage on it. So I guess we put Stormcaller in this lane right here. My opponent's going to be able to kill whatever I block the Brood Queen with. Do we also want to think about what is most likely to draw a Pity Concede from my opponent? Maybe if we just play Lightning Worms, we can get them to scoop them up. Maybe. Let's go for it. Yeah, I don't really think that's our avenue to victory here. We don't have a way to deal with the Brood Queen still, though we kind of do. If they leave around either of these creatures, we can move them over and finish off the Brood Queen with the Uranti Elementalist and also trade with Abyssal Maul. But my opponent might also just shrink Stormcaller and then sacrifice a level 1 to deal with the ambusher that we had in the center lane. So Contagion Lord and then another Abyssal creature? Yep. So there goes our battlefield. So we'll block with Water Walker and then block with Cryomancer. And then we'll get a loss. Though Cinderbound Barbarian, that could get us back into the game. Avalanche Guardian, also really strong, and Magma Hound, also really strong. So I think we've got some plays here. Our opponent might just attempt to eat the... No. Okay, yeah, that's going to get sacked to Contagion Lord. But if we can deal 1 damage to this and then another 1 damage to this, that damage adds up. That could be relevant. If my opponent decides to keep this guy around. Oh, great. They pumped their Charlie. And then a Fellwalker, and then they're going to sack Fellwalker to kill the Cryomancer. Damn. Alrighty, so we do want to kill Brood Queen. So let's just play our cards like this, and I'm actually going to take out Contagion Lord just right now so they can't activate it again and snowball even harder. The rest of these cards we can kind of try to clean up, though doesn't look like we even got there with those cards. This deck does have to get pretty lucky to win. Though there's always a chance that this guy just concedes to us. So we will keep battling here. Gloom Fiend will eat the dog. Nope, they're going to eat the Banshee, or use the Banshee to eat our mobility guy there. Yeah, this ain't looking too hot here. Go Ice Shard Berserker to trade off with Charlie. Then I'll just play Evoker to try to trade with Gloom Fiend, though I don't think that there is a chance that that card is going to survive. We just can't win the game if it doesn't. So, gotta make the play that at least has a chance of winning us the game. Because if we just block this zombie token here, we would have taken 6 more damage. We'd be at 11 right now. And we're still dead to just my opponent's active creatures, but we can dream. The girl can dream here. So let's go... I guess we can't block this again either. 3... What's 6 plus 6 plus 6? No, that's 18. So we are dead even if we make the best possible blocks, which would be here and here. We still take 6 right now, and then 12 on our opponent's turn, and go down to -1. So here's the moment of truth. Did your opponent get this far ahead before he conceded? Or did he just not realize he was ahead and, like, drew a hand of all level 1s and tilted or something? This looks like my opponent's going to kill me. But we shall find out. How are you feeling, Raider? Are you feeling in the spirit of Christmas? Alright, no, we needed him to sacrifice this abomination. Oh wait, he still could. He gets another sacrifice. So he could still sacrifice Flesh Fiend, and that's going to keep us alive here. Come on, do it. We get back in the game. Abyssal Maul. Shrink this. Sacrifice Flesh Fiend. Nope, he sacrificed that. Now replace Flesh Fiend. Replace it. You can do it. Alright, this is some next level BM right now. My opponent still gets to play one more card. I just want to completely eat my Avalanche Guardian. Which is fine. Dr. Frankenbaum. And then concede button. Oh, I see. Well, we lost, and to be honest, this deck is pretty terrible. I am kind of half a mind to just say, let's not waste our time here. We already took out the time to draft it and put it all together. You know what? I'm going to scrap it up. Maybe I'll finish these games off stream or something, but for the time being, let's just hop in another faction draft. We got 4 of them. Yeah, so I guess your opponent maybe just saw how behind on board they were and didn't think that they could come back into the game. Let's do... Well, we went 4-0 with Aloyan, Utera, and Tempe. So I guess let's see if we can go 4-0 with Necrium. Necrium... The only reason we didn't go 4-0 with Necrium is because we lost to 2 Necrium decks. And Necrium so far has been the only thing that's beat us. So even though Necrium had the worst results for us, it might actually be the most powerful faction. Just based off those numbers. It's the only thing that's actually beaten us so far. Oh, that's not true. We had an Aloyan draft that we went 2-2 or 3-1 in. We can give our regen creatures a bump. Shrink our opponents... Oh no, this card doesn't do anything. So we can give our Aloyan creatures a bump. Oops, where are you going, Solforge? Or... Necroplasm's kind of interesting. We can just grab a Patron of Tarsus. And I think this is where you want to be in Mono Necrium. You just keep shrinking your opponent's stuff, play demons, play abominations. This abomination's pretty good. So is this one. So is this card, kinda. And then there's also just Infernal Visage. This pick's pretty close. Yeah, I think that the last pick was Patron, and it wasn't really close. I was just kind of messing around there. At least considering the other options and talking about him. But I think this pick is actually a lot closer. Blightskull is a pretty powerful card, in my opinion. It's got a solid stat line, and then you count the trigger into place that happens 1 out of every 4 turns, and it's a lot stronger. Zithian Crusher is a really strong vanilla creature. By vanilla, we mean no abilities or anything on it. Other than the fact that it's an abomination. That is a relevant line of text there. Necrium-abomination. And... yeah, just also has a solid stat line. Infernal Visage. So pretty unique effect. Contagion Surge. Contagion Surge is good, but I don't think it's going to come up often enough that you're going to want to play it, and you can't power level it in Mono Necrium. So I think I want to take Infernal Visage. you can kind of snowball with this and make some shit happen. So we'll grab that. Then I think we're going to grab Dr. Frankenbaum. Catacomb Spider would also work as far as like snowbally stuff, but I think you just want to grab all the A-Bomb synergies that you can. We can grab an Abyssal Maul. Everybody's talking about this Bitter Frost Totem and how good it is. I still don't see it, but it's definitely not as good as Abyssal Maul, right? We can agree on that. Grab Death Seeker. That's a reasonable card. We can grab Brood Horror, Zombie Titan. There's a few good cards in this pack. Cold of the Week isn't bad either. Marrow Fiend's a decent underdrop. But these first 4 cards are all the ones that we want to look at. Abyssal Brute and Zombie Titan both go along with our Infernal Visage and get to grow cards in the center lane. Bone Scythe Reaver gets to destroy level 1 creatures for free, though. That's a pretty good ability. It winds up kind of scaling off in the late game, like player level 6. There's no more level 2 creatures around anymore, so it's not great then. But it is still a pretty solid card. Abyssal Brute, also a pretty solid card, and Brood Horror good as well. It is an abomination, though. So is Brood Horror, but I think it's between these two. And I think I'm going to go with the Abomination. I'm not sure about this one. Bone Scythe Reaver, like I said, once you get kind of ahead, it scales off a little bit. But there's times where that comes up again, and it's pretty sweet. All right, Vyric Evenskull. This guy's been buffed recently, and he's pretty strong. I think he used to only have a trigger on levels 2 and 3. Now he's got a trigger on every level, and that's pretty sweet. That's what we're looking for to make this Mono Necreum deck work. Here we can grab a Necroflay and see how many of those we can get, or we can grab a Marrow Fiend as a really good underdrop. Do we go all in on the Necroflays? Don't really think I want to, but could be fun. Marrow Fiend's a lot safer, but Necroflay I think could be fun, and it could help clear out some creatures from our opponent. Grave Pact is solid here, though. The Spider is fine, but Grave Pact is sweet. And I'm going to take Blight Skull Phantasm over Corpse Crawler. I like Blight Skull a whole bunch. And I'm just going to read Dark-Shard Witch real quick. Oh, it's a Drain Them effect. No, we don't want that. Brood Queen is still a pretty reasonable card. We saw it did some work against us last game, and it is maybe the best just alongside, like, Abyssal Maul. Maybe that is a pretty decent combo. So we won't get the allied trigger, but I think Brood Queen is still sweet nonetheless. We can take another Doctor, or we can take our first Crusher. I'm going to go for a Doctor. We just want to load up on those, and we can push through damage in the late game. This prevents our opponent from gaining health. Could also take a Vyrix Embrace, which is a somewhat reasonable -4/-4. We could take a Gloom Reaper Witch. I'm going to take Gloom Reaper Witch. Gives us answers to some random things that my opponents might do. And this is the Necreum consistent card. I'm not sure if this is any good without Utera. Maybe we can make this work. It's good with Infernal Visage. Yeah, I haven't played with this card in a while, but we could also grab the Tarsus Pact. Hergrada agrees that it's the Witch. Oh, no, you were saying this Witch. Okay. Yeah, Gloom Reaper Witch is sweet. I think I'm going to follow it up again with another Witch, though. Vengeful Spirit is a decent underdrop, and it works well with Brood Queen, so that would be the reason to take Vengeful Spirit. But maybe we can make some interesting things happen with Blight Witch. We're only halfway through the draft. If we get some pump, we're kind of like a pump-up Necreum deck here. And I'll take Abyssal Brute before I take Bride of Frankenbaum. This is good in, like, the mirrors, but Abyssal Brute is good. And there's the Tarsian pack that I was talking about, which would be pretty sweet, though it's really hard to pass up Graveborn Glutton. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some synergies with Tarsian Pact, but Graveborn Glutton is just actually how you win games when you're drafting in on all these A-bombs here. And Witherfrost Succubus, I actually think, is a pretty decent card after playing with it again the other day. So we'll take a Witherfrost Succubus. What does this card do again? Put a level 1 spell from your discard pile into your hand. Is that always what this card did? And it only does spells, right? There's no way this is what this card always did, right? What did this card used to do? Maybe that's what it did? And there was like... maybe that is what it did. I don't know. Now I'm now I'm rethinking myself. We're going to grab another Infernal Visage, though, over any of those underdrops. Going to pick up our first Zithian Crusher as well, so that's pretty sweet. We'll take a Death Seeker. Yeah, the card was definitely changed, but, like, maybe not changed that much. All right, let's read this heroic here. When an adjacent creature is destroyed, this gets +2/+2. I think we can make that work. I think that might be better than Graveborn Glutton. It's awkward that it wants to go in side lanes, and then when you put it in side lanes for, like, whatchamacallit, Abyssal Brute and the Infernal Visage, that means it can only have one adjacent creature, but we can definitely play for this and make some sweet things happen with it. What else? We're passing up on a Tarsian Pact and a Graveborn Glutton, but I think this guy is good enough. I think he'll grow a little bit out of hand for us here. I'm going to grab another Infernal Visage, I think. This card's really strong, and it does affect battle in multiple lanes, so yeah, I think we can make this work. They do also stack. It's not like once you play one, you can't play another one. No, you can just keep playing them and just make a ridiculously big regenerating creature like a witch or something. We're not missing up on too much from that pack. Scourge Hydra is reasonable, but Grave Glutton is what we came here to do. So let's snap off that Grave Glutton. We can grab a Cull the Weak, which will be okay after we shrink our opponent's creatures a little bit. And I think that might be better than Perdition Guard. We could also take Howl of Zith for, like, the mirrors. Ah, that's what it was. Yeah, Rune Zombie said when you cast a spell, it gets Vengeance, return this creature to the battlefield. That's what it used to be. Yep. Did you just look that up? I knew it used to be something cool, and it used to be something that I liked to do, but it is not anymore. Yeah, I'll take Howl, because we're playing A-bombs. Yeah, it used to be a cool card back in Alpha. It was sweet. Take Blightwalker, or we can take Grave Pact. I do really like Blightwalker. And in general, I think Blightwalker is pretty good. But Grave Pact doesn't have to get leveled, and it means it can't be a threat, but it also gets around armor. So we're going to take Grave Pact here, which actually kind of means stuff like Fellwalker and Death Seekers are pretty good. Take a Scourge Knights here. I think that's going to be the pick. We don't really have much in the way of shrinking, which means we're going to lose to the Necreum mirror matches once again. But I think this is fine. We only have one Abyssal Maw as well. Zithian Crusher is close. So if we compare them, it's a 6/6 versus a 4/6. Then we have a 10/12 versus a 12/12, and then a 20/20. Yeah, I mean, if you get the trigger, this card's just insane, I guess. So we'll take Scourge Knights. What do we have here? We've got our Bitterfrost Totem. I think I have to take this just because... Oh, wait, this card doesn't... I was thinking that this card was allied. I was getting the art wrong. We'll take Spite Sower Acolyte. I think it's a little bit better than Bitterfrost Totem. You liked Rite of Undeath in the last pack over the Scourge Knights, or how? I forget which pack that was in. Ooh, get another Abyssal Maul. That is pretty sweet. And get another Abyssal Brute. I think we do want to compound on the Brutes as well, because that's going to give us some big side lane action. I'll grab another Crusher, and I think this deck can make something happen. We got some powerful heroics, we got some weird and interesting synergies. We'll see if they turn into anything powerful as well. But yeah, we got some neat shit going on. I think we can make something happen here. Looks like our client kind of bugged out. I'm going to close this up. I don't think this is an 0-4 deck. No way. I think we will lose to the mirror, but otherwise I think we're in a pretty good position. That a good Tempest deck can give us a run for our money, but I think we handle most of the stuff that Uterra can do. We've got double Grave Pact as well as a bunch of stuff. And we can handle the late game, potentially, of Aloyan. Oh, currently in match. Yeah, I think this deck's solid. I think we will lose to Necram Mirrors like we did last time. Spite Sower's good. Zithian Crusher's good. There is an interesting balance of, do we want to side lane these cards immediately so that we can draw another Infernal Visage, or do we want to put them in lanes 2 and 3, which opens us up for formation of Scourge Knights, and also means that we can have active Abyssal Brutes later on, because if we start in the side lanes, our Abyssal Brutes don't work. So I think I might do a hedge of that, where I go Spite Sower side lane, Zithian Crusher center lane, depending on what my opponent does, of course. Zithian Crusher, he's got no problem blocking. My other cards don't really want to block as much. Do I want to double queue? They made double queuing a lot harder. Because the game doesn't alert you when you're taking your turns. Alright, well, Zithian Crusher lines up too perfectly in front of that. Oh, and because I was out of the game... Oh, no, they are going to show me. I thought for a second they weren't going to show me what my opponent leveled up. They leveled an Aramine Squadron. Not a huge threat. Not a huge problem. We'll crush that. And I am still going to put Spite Sower side lane because this card is pretty good with Infernal Visage. It deals damage to itself, which you can then regen away. So we drew Infernal Visage and we drew the Scourge Knights, which means we won't be able to play both and use both of them to their full ability. We can, however, do Bone Scythe Reaver Scourge Knights or Blightwitch Scourge Knights and kind of not worry about the Infernal Visage for the time being. But we are going to want to level Scourge Knights. This is a pretty powerful card. And Bone Scythe Reaver... Bone Scythe Reaver isn't at its best against leveling decks. However, it still lines up well against Technosmith, other than on the 3rd level. But the level 2 still kills a level 2 Technosmith. So that's pretty reasonable. Alright, and a meta transfer over there. Well, now the Infernal Visage looks even worse. Though what we could do is we could Blight Witch, we could Infernal Visage. It's going to give us a 4-9. And then we ping this. No, I don't think we've lost this game just yet. My opponent's leveled a bunch of cards, but I think this game is still way too close to call. Volt Welder and Pulse Mage, those are fine cards, though. So Blightwitch Infernal Visage is a play, but it levels our potentially most awkward cards. Blightwitch is good with the Infernal Visages in the deck. Sure, let's try it out. Let's see what happens. The fact that we get to regen the damage from this thing, like, that's way too sweet. We drew our Abyssal Brutes here, but I don't think that that is super punishing. We get to play Graveborn Glutton and Abyssal Maul to shrink whatever's trying to kill the Spite Sower Acolyte. Which Visage is which? That's the question that we're asking ourselves here today. And hopefully we find out. And Avilion Enforcer. Not super awkward. That makes it a little bit more awkward, I suppose. But we can still just activate it to kill this. So, assuming nothing else, we kill their creature just by activating and killing. And then we could just go Graveborn Glutton here. We go Graveborn Glutton here or here and shrink with Abyssal Maul in either other combination. -2, -2. Yeah, so we want to throw triggers, I think, at both of these cards. Yeah, this'll die, but there's no real way to prevent that, so let's finish this guy off. Let's trade here, and then we will Abyssal Maul for the positive battle on Aloyan General. Meanwhile, we're cranking in damage with our Blightwitch. We can Witherfrost Succubus plus Visage next turn. Visage does scale, right? Yeah, 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 6, 8. Turn our witch to something great. Alright, we've got a Nexus Gunner here. We also have Gravepact Deathseeker if we want to use that to handle something our opponent's doing. It's not unreasonable. If we do that, then we could also just Gravepact the Nexus Gunner after Abyssal Maul has finished off the Aloyan General. Throw Succubus in, I think, in the side lane to positive battle this, and then throw the Gravepact at the Nexus Gunner. Yeah, I think I like that, actually. So we'll just do this, and then we'll do a positive battle here. My opponent will get to draw an additional card on their turn right now, but this is fine. Sets us up reasonably for the next player level. So I drew some underleveled heroics and some leveled non-heroics, rares and commons here. Alright, Aloyan General for the finish off. That's a little bit unlucky, but it's just going to turn a positive battle into a trade for us. So not the worst thing in the world. And that does make it a little bit worse off for wear. Yeah, this is really annoying. So we can Crush here, or we could Blightwitch here. I think I just want to Crush for the positive battle. Blightwitch not in the side lane doesn't really do anything to me. So I'm just going to Crush, and then I'm going to play Graveborn Glutton, and this will set us up for a Scourge Knights. That was the card I was thinking of. It actually was. And then we also have Abyssal Maul, which we can use the trigger however we see fit as well. Abyssal Maul trigger can finish off the Aloyan General, so that might be good, especially if my opponent plays like a level 1 Aloyan General in the center lane. Going for a trade here. Abyssal Maul can now finish this off. We don't need to do that though either. Play Abyssal Brute as well. And they're going to draw a random ass Metamind. So this is already a positive battle. We don't really need to mess with it. But we can. I think we want to. I think we want to take all the damage off of our Alolan General. That's going to leave our opponent a Vault Welder, though. You know the other thing that we can do, if we leave our opponent this Vault Welder, is we can Abyssal Maul, shrinking this, and just putting the Abyssal Maul here. Yeah, that finishes off the 10-7 and turns Abyssal Maul into a pretty sick underdrop. And then if that's the play, we're just going to Scourge Knights, shrink Metamind Explorer, and make that play happen. Yeah, so this looks pretty solid here. And now we have Patron of Tarsus, which I think is like kind of unlikely to make anything happen here. Though we can Grave Pact our Scourge Knights. Getting a little bit unlucky. My opponent obviously leveled a whole bunch of cards. We leveled some cards too, we just didn't draw them. Still have 4 level 2s in the deck. And we have 1 level 2 that the Blight Witch that we drew at the same time as our other level 2 cards. So that's a trade. That is perfectly acceptable. And then we have an Anatomize, which is going to change that trade around. I'm not going to rank up, but I can trade with either of these cards. Death Seeker. I can just go Grave Pact. Death Seeker. I think I'm just going to level Patron of Tarsus and Grave Pact. I think they're the best cards to level. So, unfortunately, we're missing up on the Death Seeker synergy again. But I think Patron of Tarsus is just, like I said, a better card to level here. So we're going to block like this. Just going to trade off my opponent's board here. And then we're going to Grave Pact this one and send that in. And now if we can draw some level 2s, not really. Not really drawing any level 2s here. We drew some Infernal Visages, so that's interesting. We can create a 9/9 Regenerate 3 for ourselves. I don't think that's that great either. So, we kind of bricked here. Do we want to trade with our 9/9? I guess I will. So the play would be like, set up an Abyssal Brute to have good plays next turn. Next player level. We just go Abyssal Brute here. And then like Gloom Reaper Witch in front of Technosmith. So that one of our high toughness creatures can finish it off. Like Spitesower Acolyte could go there. Witherfrost Succubus could go there. Trigger could go there. Okay, this doesn't look great. Doesn't look great for us, but all it needs is a -2/-2. We can make that happen. We're going to take 9 damage in the interim, and we're going to hope to draw some sweetness. Alright, Blight Crusher can finish off Technosmith, and then we'll play a Zithian Crusher, and we will hope that those cards are big enough to deal with what my opponent's got going on. I could also play an Abyssal Brute here, which would then make Zithian Crusher into a 18/20 Regen 2. Maybe I like that a little bit better. I blocked Volt just so that it wasn't there when he draws the level 3 Volt. We weren't really doing that much else with our other cards, but yeah, it's potentially wrong. I'm going to go for a big Crusher here, though. And this might be enough. This might be enough of a 3-drop to put us in a decent position here. I generally don't like blocking with Crushers, but I think this is going to work out. We have Abyssal Maul to positive battle here. Scourge Knight's a positive battle here. And then we can take the trigger from Scourge Maul elsewhere. So this looks pretty solid. We We take 16 points of damage, but I think we're actually in a really good position right now. We've got a Regen 2 guy. Our Infernal Visages are super live. Let's check and see what our opponent leveled at the end of the player level there. They didn't play the Meta Transfer 2, but they did play the Technosmith and the Center Lane guy at the end of that player level. So their Technosmith leveled the Metamind Archivist that we just saw, and Nexus Overwatch leveled Anatomize. So we are in a pretty good spot here then, with all of those things considered. My opponent plays a level 1, which I cannot eat with Gloom Reaper Witch. So we're going to play Abyssal Maul, and I think this is a positive battle here. Yeah, it is. And then we're going to play Scourge Knights, and that's a positive battle. And I'm going to try to keep my Crusher as healthy as possible. And we are back, or for the first time, in a winning position? I think back. I think we're back in a winning position. I can't quite remember, but I think we were in a winning position earlier in this game, and now we have an 18-15 that's going to die to our opponent's 3-drop. Well, this guy did work. He traded with a 3-drop. He also traded with some other stuff. So he did work. That's all we can ask out of him. And how much is that going to shrink? It's going to shrink enough that this isn't doing anything. I think we go positive battle with Graveborn Glutton, and then we play Spite Sower Acolyte in the side lane as well. I don't really want to take a bunch of damage here, and I think these things line up fine. I don't think we want to Infernal Visage here. We've got an Infernal Visage 2 in the deck that I would be happy to cast this turn, though we don't get it. Let's see. I think my opponent's pretty likely to take out Abyssal Maul, though actually Abyssal Maul could definitely stick around here. This is a pretty juicy block target for my opponent, as is this, because it's an activate creature. So we could make some weird things happen. We could go like, and we'd probably want to play Witherfrost Succubus first, I imagine. Witherfrost Succubus is good, but we could Grimgaunt Warrior and then Grave Pact this. It's going to grow Grimgaunt Warrior enough, and then this is going to trade with whatever they play across from it. So that's going to turn Grimgaunt Warrior into an 8-9, which will take 6 damage, so it'll be an 8-3. But I think Witherfrost Succubus is still potentially better than an 8-3. They are going to positive battle here. That's fine. Do we have any triggers? We've got a -4/-4 to finish off this. And we kind of want a Grave Pact also. So if we're Grave Pacting, what are we doing? Give a creature -4/-4. I think we want to Grave Pact, or we want to activate on this, I suppose, then. And then we can choose whether we want to keep around Witherfrost Succubus or Spore Sower Acolyte, and Witherfrost Succubus will just be stronger. So let's go like this. Let's Grave Pact before battle. And then I can play Witherfrost Succubus across from Aloyan General to just eat it up. I could also not do that. I could like play an Aloyan General here and then a 1-drop here. So I don't think we want to do that. But what kind of Aloyan General? No, they could... Even if they have an Aloyan General 3, it's not going to be enough to finish off Succubus. We'll block. My opponent now needs Aloyan General 3, and then, like, Pulse Mage. Drew a lot of spells in this hand. That's really unfortunate. And I have a feeling my opponent's not even going to have that many cards lying around for us to Grave Pact. I'm definitely punished for this block here now. And Grave Pact's free. It doesn't have Overload, right? No, it's just free, though. Meta Transfer to save his guy? Wow, okay. All right, we got nothing going on here. um, hmm. So I'm going to activate this quite clearly. Then I could Blight Skull side lane and Infernal Visage. I guess it's fine. Could also just play Infernal Visage and not have the Blight Skull side lane. We'll play a 7-8. Yeah, my opponent does have center lane stuff that I just opened him up for. So that is an interesting part. Patron of Tarsus is going to be able to finish off any creatures if my opponent blocks. And I don't mind positive battling with Graveborn Glutton. If we have the opportunity to, like if this board state is already enough, and we can play another Graveborn Glutton or Dr. Frankenbaum, I will gladly do that, though, as well. Alright, that's going to survive at 11, so that's going to die to Patron of Tarsus, which is 9 plus 3 equals 12. And then that guy is going to be at 11 as well. Oh, he drew 3 cards. That's sweet. So both of these things are going to be at 11. We can finish either off with the Patron. Do we have any things that deal 8 in the deck? Not really particularly. So do we want to block with Graveborn Glutton is the question. Cards are only at 8. I don't think I want to block with Graveborn Glutton. I think I want to put him in the side lane, and I think I want to take some damage. This card also has a Vengeance trigger, so that's another reason to maybe let it stick around for another moment here. We'll see. It trades with this. Abyssal Brute is not quite enough to finish this off. I don't want to take infinite damage from Metamind Explorer, which it looks like now I might do. And then that is a positive battle. We're just Grave Pack now. Like, putting 5 damage on this, or however much damage on this, it's irrelevant. So I could just Grave Pack the Graveborn Glutton, have him draw some cards. And then trade with Spore Sower Acolyte. Oh no, I won't have to trade, because I'm just worried about Aloy in general at that point. My opponent blocking the side lane, though, is actually... That's actually the real bummer here. 4 plus 4 plus 6. Alright, let's do something like this. And then play Spite Sower, or we could play Abyssal Brute, which will trade and then let us play a big creature next turn. Both of these plays get me reasonably ahead. Let's play Spite Sower, and do we want to play it in 2, 4, or 5? I'm just going to play it here. My opponent has a decent chance to hit their other general, but I think this works out okay for us. Zithian Crusher, Abyssal Maul. Abyssal Maul gives us a -5, -5. This gives us a -6, -6, so we can do a total of, well, we'll just say 5 and 6 to not confuse us. And then they do have the general, so that's a little bit annoying as well. These guys still trade, and all I have to do is activate this, and then they trade, right? No, wait, if I activate this, then I just kill this. But I could also do that with the Abyssal Maw trigger. And then I could throw this trigger right here, I believe. Plus 6, 14. So where does the Crusher want to go? The Crusher wants to positive battle the Aloyan General and survive. So let's go Crusher. Let's chump block this. Shrinking this. And then finish off this. So now the Crusher just gets to completely eat the General here. And then I've got Abyssal Maul, Scourge Knights, and Zithian Crusher to finish off whatever my opponent does. It's a -6, that's not quite enough. This is a -9, -9. That's enough to get whatever you need done. -9, -9 action there. Crusher's going to take a little bit of damage. This has been a really close game. Very close indeed. Abyssal Maul can finish this off either which way. Abyssal Maul is pretty good here because then it just trades. We shrink this. Though, if we can give -6, -6, and -9, -9 to this, is that good enough too? It kills this, but this is still a positive battle. So I think we just leave this alone. We don't send any triggers this way. We also have Infernal Visages. Or Visages. Abyssal Maul can shrink this. Scourge Knights can go here. Shrinking this, I'm left with Abyssal Maw and Scourge Knights. Is that the best? Or do I want to leave myself with a big Zithian Crusher? No, because I can give this -9 and it's still going to kill this. So we go Abyssal Maw, kill this, and then Scourge Knights just to finish this guy off. Those trade, and now we're left 2 creatures to my opponent's 1.5. Got Deathseeker as an underdrop, Abyssal Brute as a pseudo underdrop that we will be able to suit up a dude with. Ooh, that's a Nexus Gunner trade. That's pretty good for us. Right, it's getting a bonus from Aloyan General right now. Okay, and then it's no longer a trade, and it's going to be able to activate, and not only that, but I don't have a way to stop it. I guess Necroflay... Does Necroflay turn it into a trade? What does that do? It makes this guy a 7/7. No, I don't think that's what we want to do. Well, either way, we still have to play another card to finish this off. So if we go Abyssal Brute, we Necroflay this. Hits us for 7. We hit it for 2 and 2. It'll go down to 3 remaining. We have a lot of ways to finish that off, but it's just a little awkward. The other thing that we could do would be battle, Necroflay, and then Abyssal Brute. Means that we trade with it. Maybe that's better, to just trade with it all right now. We got Grave Pact in the deck to sacrifice our Abyssal Brute too, though. So let's Necroflay Abyssal Brute. Could also Howl here. Howl would have dealt 20 damage to my opponent, meaning the next one would have been lethal. I think we'll surprise my opponent with the very last Howl instead. We'll say that this Howl isn't going to be lethal, and then my next Howl will be. My opponent's going to be able to make a pretty big creature here with this Nexus Gunner, yeah. This is going to survive at 8 attack. Oh, it's going to survive at 11 attack now. And this is going to survive a whole bunch. Witherfrost Succubus can finish this off. And then I guess we put some damage onto this with Gloom Reaper. Gloom Reaper Witch right here. Or Frankenbomb. Yeah, it's a comparable amount of damage, and we nug them for a few points here. So we're putting our opponent down to 21. Oh, it's 3 times the rank? It's not 4 times the rank? Alright, well that's good to know. Patron of Tarsus, how much does that trigger for? -6, -6! Holy shit, that card's insane! Wow! And then we have a Blight Skull rank up if we want it. We don't quite have Abyssal Maw because we're going to lose our only Abomination. But -6, -6, there's got to be some magic we can work with that. Holy shit. Alright. So -6, we can also give -7 to something. 6 plus 7, that's not enough to finish this off. However, -6, with that, we can finish off anything. We might want to finish off the Pulse Mage, though I'm not convinced we do. We can finish off Pulse Mage with Blightsteel Phantasm. It's the only card that Pulse Mage finishes off. So it looks like it's Patron Trade here. We could also Blight Skull finish this off here, but I think Patron Trade here is reasonable. Though Blight Skull puts us in a better position. Just means he gets to activate this next turn. So my 2 plays are Patron 5, Blight Skull 2, or Battle. Well, after I play Patron 5, then Battle, then Blight Skull 2, and Witherfrost Succubus is going to take out the card across from it regardless. Give this -6, -6. It's a 7, 8. Yeah, so we want to Witherfrost Succubus this. Can we go down to 6? I feel like we can. My opponent has Aeronaut Squadron that we open ourselves up to. Now let's just trade off, save ourselves the life points, and clear my opponent's board. That's pretty good. A board clear, you can't ask for too much more than that. We don't want to get too greedy here. Our Howl now does how much damage? Now it deals 18 damage, so we have to hit our opponent for 7 or 8 here, and we're good. That is almost a trade. I don't think this is a threat here. I think my opponent's playing a level 1 creature. Alright, a level 2 creature for a positive battle. That's fine. So now we can play Abyssal Brute, which is going to make something really beefy. We can Scourge Knights to not quite finish this off, and then that trades, or we can Scourge Knights to just kill this. These are almost going to trade regardless. And we can finish this off with a trigger. But then this comes around and they play something that can kill the Scourge Knights again anyways. I think that's fine. Ooh, Patron of Tarsus. Wow. Holy shit, that card's insane. So I don't play much Constructed, as you guys might know. So the Heroics and Legends sometimes I have to read because I'm not as familiar with them, as well as some cards that came out in the time period that I wasn't really playing the game. But -6, -6, that's gonna win us the game here. Player level 6, this was a really, really good and close game. We're going to be able to positive battle in both of these lanes, as well as finish off our opponent's shit. And then what else do we want to do? I think we want to play a Graveborn Glutton. I'm sorry, this isn't going to be a positive. Oh, it is going to be a positive battle, because it's going to get rid of the general. So we have double positive battle, so let's just Patron up and then play our biggest creature. I think that's the play. What other options do we have? Well, let's start with this. We have no abominations, right? Yeah, demon, zombie, zombie. We could also Abyssal Maul and positive battle this now. I don't think there's a reason to do that. This card's just slowly dying to our patron triggers anyways. And now my opponent can block my 2 active creatures, and I have lethal with my 2 non-active creatures. So I think that's going to seal the game. And Rami 72, what a game it was, ending on player level 6. Those are always fun ones, regardless of how they turn out. This was a great game, and yeah, definitely well fought, brother. Good shit. No reason to BM after a great game like that. We've got 27 damage. We'll hit the battle button. Whew. And we'll get a breather in. That was a good one. That's why you play Solforge, for those games right there. That was pretty sweet. You thought we were going to be 0-1 Hargrada, but we are 1-0, and we are winning in style, baby, with our Mono Necreum draft. Yeah, I didn't realize just how good Patron of Tarsus was. I knew it was good, but -6, -6. That effectively makes it a 2018 that also fucks up shit on the other lanes. So, yeah, that's real strong. That's real, real good. I'm curious, I don't think you could, but it would be really funny if you could queue up with both of your decks and then play yourself. No, I mean, we're 1-1 today as a total, that's my total record today, but we're 1-0 with this deck, and we're 0-1 with the other one. And we got some sweet heroics here. We've got Spite Sower Acolyte and a Grimgaunt Warrior. So, these cards seem pretty powerful. And we also have Dissian Brood Queen. Dissian Brood Queen, Grimgaunt Warrior actually is kind of a combo. We could make something happen here. My opponent has a Grimgaunt Predator. Yikes. Alright, we are going to want to dodge that one, which means we're going to go double center, or double side lane here. We'll play Brood Queen, especially with the Grimgaunt Predator. We might just want ways to deal with this, though. We've got a lot of ways to answer problem creatures coming from our opponent's deck. Vyric Ebon Skull is a pretty sweet one. And we have Abyssal Maul. We don't have the trigger. We also have Infernal Visage. We can make some sweet stuff happen here. Play might just be... Alright, that's a reasonable move for my opponent. You definitely don't want to put something right here. Or... No, I guess maybe you would. Looks like these are going to trade regardless of what I do, unless I Infernal Visage. My opponent Grave Packs anyways, so... That is a moot point, then. So I could, Vyric Ebon Skull and Infernal Visage. That's interesting, if nothing else. What else could I do? I could just level solid cards, but Vyric Ebon Skull, it's not like he's a bad card to level. He's actually pretty good. We just didn't draw him early last game, so there was no opportunities to play him. These function a little bit easier as underdrops, but they're also good priority levels. I feel like this kind of puts my opponent in a weird position, though they're also playing black, so they could just have another Grave Pact or something. Just move Grimgaunt Predator over, Grave Pact, and then they've got a 7/7 that I'm going to have to, Grave Pact myself. I'm going to go for it. Grave Pact is obviously real good, but this play seems sweet, if nothing else. So we'll do it up. Necroflay, Bone Scythe Reaver if my opponent's shit gets way too out of hand, but I feel like this is going to be my opponent potentially just... I mean, they could also have a, like, -1/-1 effect, and then Grimgaunt Predator and Fyric Ebon Skull trade. But if they put something bad and block, I might just Necroflay. This card doesn't level that poorly. It's like a Bitterfrost Totem. But it doesn't level that poorly. Alright, so they play that, and then they play another creature. So these trade. This is a chump block. Okay. I can still get behind this, though. I can't quite Necroflay. Necroflay is reasonable because I'll regen off the damage that my opponent deals to Fyric Ebon Skull, but I think we just want to level Bone Scythe Reaver and then play Dr. Frankenbaum and level him as well. This is still kind of a beefy thing for my opponent to deal with, a 5/6. 5/6 is pretty good, nothing to shake a stick at. Is that a phrase? Shake a stick at? I have no idea what I'm saying. Shake a stick at. Okay. I don't think I used it correctly, but it is a phrase. And maybe that's all that really matters. That I said something that wasn't absolutely crazy. And if they don't block here, that means we get to steal one of their cards. They are going to block. Yeah, there's nothing we can do. We can Abyssal Maul to get this through. And Abyssal Maul is still really good. So do we just level Abyssal Maul instead of Graveborn Glutton? We can level whatever the heck we want here. If we level Abyssal Maul, I guess I just get in with Frankenbaum instead. Or do we just level the Graveborn Gluttons? I think we level Abyssal Maul, get in with the Doctor, and then play another Graveborn Glutton, and we'll play him on the side lane here. We had some sweet plays if my opponent didn't block the Doctor, but of course they block the Doc. Of course, of course. And we have some sweet plays here. Frankenbaum, Grimgaunt Warrior, and Abyssal Maul. This guy gets +3/+3 at this level, so if one of our cards is dying, he's immediately a 10/11. Yeah, this card's going to be good. We also have Infernal Visage. And, oh, that is, I guess, I kind of missed the Infernal Visage. This hand isn't great, if only for the fact that it is too good. That's an interesting play. Kind of just throwing away their Scourge Hydra there. And does this give them a free spell? What does this do? Yeah, give something regen 3. Alright, so -5, -5. 3, 3. So I think we play Grimgaunt Warrior. And I think we play it... that's tricky. We can play it really in whatever lane we want. 2 more Visages in the deck. This card really has an awkward relationship with the lanes. I think it still wants to be in the side lane, though, because being able to give it regeneration seems so much better than incidentally growing it. And I'm almost rewarded for not even leveling this here. Like if I just put Dr. Frankenbaum here and just let this die. Yeah, let's put it side lane. And we'll Abyssal Maul. And these things will trade off. Oh no, they won't trade off. My guy will still die here. Maybe that's like worse even? I'm not sure. This is an interesting card to try to figure out. But we'll figure out something. Alright, Patron of Tarsus means that this guy's going to survive completely. And this is going to go back up to 8. Okay, well now I can Patron of Tarsus to shrink my opponent's Brood Horror. And these will maybe trade or maybe not, but it doesn't really even matter because... Oh no, it looks like we're going to kill their guy. And then I will Brood Queen, and we'll go Brood Queen side lane. We have one more Visage in the deck. Got Abyssal Maw, and we can play another Abomination if we need to, though I think it's decently likely, unless my opponent has like Epidemic or something. They're just going to take out our 2 active creatures. Which doesn't actually leave us with an Abomination, so we might have to Frankenbomb Abyssal Maw, or we could just Scourge Knights, but Abyssal Maw's a little bit stronger. Actually, I guess if you look at the numbers, I mean, it really does just depend. Okay, my opponent can grow wide and affect multiple stuffs here. Sorrow Maiden, alright, so... And then they're gonna kill this off. So we really want to give -2/-2 to Sorrow Maiden, and then fling something at Darkshaper Savant, so we can give it -2 with either Abyssal Maw or Scourge Knights. It's pretty close. I guess, when in doubt, we'll go for Abominations. Requires a little bit more synergy, but playing Dr. Frankenbomb is not the worst thing in the world. So we do that. We battle and get a positive battle out of that even. I didn't see that one coming, I'll be honest. And then we're going to sack our Abomination to kill Darkshaper Savant. And we're looking good here. We looking good. There's the Epidemic. And then a positive battle on Brood Queen with a Grimgone Predator. Alright, that would have been nasty. Luckily we did have the Grave Pact for any Grimgone Predator shenanigans. Oh. Oh, Rot Wanderer. Okay. We'll play these cards. We are not leveling Grave Pact here, which might be a little bit awkward, but my opponent didn't play Grimgone Predator. So I think we're okay. Grimgone Warrior will get his trigger, and hopefully I can put him in the side lane. I think that's going to be pretty likely, that I'm able to put him in the side lane and shrink something and then still have it die. So that's a pretty sweet play lined up. Ooh, Patron of Tarsus. That guy's real good. Well, I hope he doesn't kill my Abyssal Brute right now. That would stink. That would kind of stink. This guy gets +3/+3. No, +4/+4. Even better. Oh, he is going to. Womp, womp, womp. Though that means I get to kill this for free. So that's not the worst thing in the world. I get to make a 14, 17, and then I get to place another creature in front of Patron of Tarsus to trade off. And make my guy even bigger. Yeah. I could play Vyric Ebon Skull here, or I could play Infernal Visage, but trading off with their guy while also making my guy bigger seems like the most reasonable course of action here. I did go side lane just in case we draw more Infernal Visages. Though we did draw 2 on that turn. Oh no, Dark Shaper Savant. Card's really, really powerful. And then an underdrop. You could shrink either of these things. He shrinked his own creature? Wait, what just happened? No, he shrunk my guy. He shrunk my guy. Okay. It's like, did he just shrink his own creature just to have that survive for another second there? Alright. So this is going to die to a trigger. I think we just want to get some damage on Dark Shaper Savant though while we can. This card's really hard to deal with, and this is also the only of the Shaper creatures that protects itself. So we want to just try to deal with it as quickly as possible. If we look at this hand, we still don't have a way to deal with it into the next turn. We don't have any creatures here with 5 attack. So yeah, Dark Shaper Savant is a little bit scary here. Epidemic is going to finish off our board, and it finishes off the Graveborn Glutton before it can grow our Grimgaunt. So this is not looking too hot here. My opponent isn't threatening us, but they are growing their battlefield pretty substantially. Alright, let's play Witherfrost Succubus. And let's just put some damage on this. We've also played a Death Seeker. I think this will be okay enough. Patron of Tarsus can get us back in it, as well as Disian Brood Queen. These are both decent cards, and we'll rank up with them, and we'll be leveling a bigger Patron of Tarsus into the deck. So that's good. Looks like Witherfrost Succubus is going to stick around for another second here. And give -5/-5 and a -3/-3. I also have a Grave Pact that might want to level just to kill Dark Shaper Savant, but I don't have any great plays for it. No, I mean, Patron of Tarsus and Brood Queen are definitely the cards we want to play. So let's think. We got 5 + 3. It's a total of 8. Sorrow Maiden's going to kill Disian Brood Queen, actually, anyways. That's really unfortunate. Well, if it's just going to die, we might as well not play it. We can trade these off here. We can finish this off. And then I can Grave Pact this to kill the Sorrow Maiden. I mean, if Brood Queen's just going to die, might as well not give our opponent the satisfaction. They are going to be able to put 2 big creatures out on the board right here. So that's a little bit unlucky. Hopefully those are 2 level 1 creatures, and then we can Bone Scythe Reaver one of them. That's a level 2. So at the very least it's not a threat. It's a 9/9. He should have battled first. Alright, he sees it now. He battles now. And then what's the play? Azithian Hulk. Ask, and you shall receive, my friends. And then a free regenerate over on that dude. So, looks like something somewhat reasonable happened. Get to Bone Scythe Reaver and kill both of those. That's still not great. So, what's our other play? Is it Grimgaunt Warrior in lane 2 right here? Or lane 4, rather? I guess it is. Alright. That's definitely our best play. Alright, Grave Pact. Grave Pact can definitely make some sweet shit happen here. We can Grave Pact. We want our opponent to have Dark Shaper Savant right now so we can finish it off, not deal with it, trade Graveborn Glutton for Rot Wanderer, and then we're going to have a big dude right here. Alright, and then Dark Shaper Savant, so we don't have to deal with it. Alright, not quite, but... this is still pretty good. Do we want to level a free Grave Pact? This is always something... I can never figure this one out. I can never figure this one out. I see this play all the time, and I'm never sure what's right. So we can level this Grave Pact, and then we'll have a free one and a dead one in the deck. Or we can level this Grave Pact, and we'll have 2 good ones in the deck. What do you guys do here? Do you guys level the... do you guys level the free one? And get the free one in the deck? I think we just want... I think we just want to play to have 2 good ones in the deck. It's only... oh, no. Alright, cancel. That makes it easy. Alright, that makes this play a lot easier. I definitely did that thing, like, just the other day. I tried to play a Grave Pact on a creature it couldn't be played on. Here we have a Scourge Knights and an inability to trigger it. Oy vey. We've got a Necroflay and Scourge Knights that can take out the Bone Scythe Reaver in conjunction with each other. Yeah, I mean, clearly the play is kill Glutton. I thought both of those cards could kill Glutton. I know I just, did this exact same sequence of events earlier this week. But, got 2 in my own head. Alright, Scourge Hydra for a positive battle. Yikes. Well, I'm not sure what we're doing here now. We get to kill 2 of my opponent's creatures, but... need to hope my opponent bricks once again. If they draw a Dark Shaper Savant, we're in kind of a tricky spot. Patron of Tarsus, baby. Woo! Alright, we're not dead. Patron of Tarsus is going to finish off Brood Horror and negate the buffs that Brood Horror makes. Wow, Patron of Tarsus is absolutely insane. We are at 29, so we do desperately need to watch our life total. However, Brood Queen is going to be able to push through some damage, and maybe that's about it for now, but we've got Brood Queen. We're doing alright. We're doing A-okay. And Rot Wanderers as a mostly irrelevant creature. We're going to go Patron of Tarsus in lane 4 here, and then open lane Disian Brood Queen on a side lane. Wow, Patron of Tarsus has been absolutely insane for us. This is barely a positive battle, though we do have to make blocks now that we're in player level 5. This is just a player level 5 deck. Who would have thunk it? Alright, now we start drawing the damage. We've got Graveborn Glutton, we've got Dr. Frankenbaum, we've got Disian Brood Queen. Brood Queen hits for 8 regardless. So we can sack Frankenbaum, kill Graveborn Glutton, smack him for 8. No, we have to kill Sorrow Maiden. So we have to kill Sorrow Maiden. What else are we doing? I guess we are sacrificing Patron of Tarsus to kill Sorrow Maiden, and then Do we have to kill Sorrow Maiden if... No, we just have to kill it. Oh, but this has a regen, which means it's not going to die. So we're trading Graveborn Glutton for Graveborn Glutton here? I think so. So we're sacrificing Patron of Tarsus to kill Sorrow Maiden, and we have to do that pre-combat? Bone Scythe Reaver also finishes off Graveborn Glutton and kills Rot Wanderer, which then allows me to play Dacian Brood Queen. So we sack this, kill this. Post-combat Bone Scythe Reaver, clean up the board. But then how do we win? No, I think we need to put 3 damage on Dacian Brood Queen here. Sack this, kill this, and then play Graveborn Glutton. Yeah, I don't want to take any more damage to my face at this point. My opponent's going to regen 4. This will be at 10. It won't die to a Frankenbomb. And I think we want to play Graveborn Glutton over Bone Scythe Reaver there, because we want to start getting in Graveborn Glutton triggers. That's how this game is eventually going to be decided. So we need to make sure at every point we can that we send triggers my opponent's way. This game might also be decided by my opponent drawing way too many Spirit Torrents and just kind of flooding out in that way. Deck's reasonably solid. Darkshaper Savant is really good, but unlikely to be able to finish off Dacian Brood Queen here. Alright, Sorrow Harvester, that's going to give a -5/-5 to Brood Queen. That's fine, we can handle that. We'll play an A-Bomb, play an Abyssal Maul. Give something -9/-9. Haven't quite figured out what that's going to be yet. It might just be to give... We give this -9/-9, it doesn't do anything, right? Yeah, it would still stick around. So, we're going to give this -9, and then we're going to sack the Zithian Crusher and kill Darkshaper Savant. So let's do it in this order. My opponent will not draw a card, and they will not have a Darkshaper Savant. We hit them for 3, down to 42. We're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah, I didn't play Abyssal Maul side lane intentionally because I don't think it's powerful enough. But we keep drawing these awkward hands where we just don't draw. We don't get enough good cards. Bone Scythe Reaver is going to be a positive battle that I can't even finish off. 7. Yikes. Alright, not looking too hot here. Then a Sorrow Harvester, that obviously makes things a little bit more reasonable. Still don't have a way to deal with this. I could Necroflay it, then block with Abyssal Brute, which I think I do. I really don't want to take 13 or even 6 damage. So I Necroflay. Could have also Necroflayed this just to get them for 10. I know there's obviously ways where this turns into a negative battle here, but I think we have to not worry about that and just worry about putting things on the battlefield. Yeah, we really need my opponent to just continually get super, super unlucky in order to win this game, because we have not... I mean, I guess we're drawing okay, but our cards aren't great. I guess that's the trick. Deck's been performing to standard, but just hasn't been a powerful deck. Alright, so this dies if it pumps up 2 things. think we still make them do it. And we're going to take 4 here to protect Witherfrost Succubus a little bit. Patron of Tarsus, baby. Every time we think we're dead, we draw Patron of Tarsus. We're going to be dropping down to 15. Is this card just insane or what? It's an Epidemic 3. That's what it is. The level 3 is Epidemic 3 and just comes with a 14-12. That is so, so absurd that every time we draw it, I have to remark on how absurd it is. My opponent obviously has insane cards in their deck as well. Sorrow Maiden and Darkshaper Savant being the main ones that we hope that they don't play right now, because they would put a pretty big wrench in our plans, though. Take a look. -6, -7, -4. We can deal with whatever. We really can. It's just going to be a matter of what else can we do. My opponent's going to sack their Contagion Engine and give that guy -4 and -5. So they're putting mad shrinky dinks on this. Patron of Tarsus. So what are our numbers? 7 and 6 is 13. And 4 is 17. So we can take this out. We can take out Darkshaper Savant with just triggers. That would mean we are not playing Dacian Brood Queen. How does that seem? No Brood Queen. Well, if we don't kill this, it kills us. Yeah. Okay. Oh, we don't have a good placement for... If we put Patron of Tarsus here, we can't get the Scourge Knight trigger, so we are going to have to take 5. It's getting a little bit risky, but I don't think we have any other plays. Yeah, then we Scourge Knights. We have to kill Darkshaper. There's just no way around that. This leaves us a little duder right here. Not that he's too important. We're going to take 5, go down to 10. We have our Howl. Howl is an 18-point life swing, and it might be lethal. If we don't die, Howl might be lethal here. Wait, he's got a Patron of Tarsus? Since when? Since when does my opponent have a Patron of Tarsus? And an Epidemic? What? What? Yeah, there's no way I can Howl here. We do have a sweet play. We can Bone Scythe Reaver, kill this, and play the Grimgaunt Warrior, or we can Abyssal Brute and just eat this. The eat winds up better. Oops, Abyssal Brute first. And then Grimgaunt Warrior. Eat, we'll regen that eat off. I don't think we can Howl. I think if we Howl, we just lose. If we Howl... So Howl gains us 18 life, but then we immediately take so much of that damage right back. Oh, I guess we could have Reaver Howled. Yeah, I guess we're dead to potentially 1 Graveborn Glutton trigger, but I'm not even convinced we're dead to 1 Graveborn Glutton. We're definitely dead to 2. I think it's going to work out for us because we're going to have this big creature. Our opponent's not Graveborn Gluttoning right now. Misery Demon plus a Graveborn Glutton trigger will kill us eventually now. Alright. Now I'm definitely in Glutton range. Glutton's got more than a 50-50. Before, Glutton had like a 1 in 3 to kill me. Now it's got the straight up 50-50. But look at this. I got this big guy they got to deal with. I've got my own 2 Graveborn Gluttons they have to deal with. This could be good. This could definitely work out. But we are in Glutton range. We die to Glutton. They aren't going to draw a card here, so that's good. Don't really have to worry about mobility. This Necroflay will probably be lethal even. Yeah, this is a little risky. Yeah, we might lose because of it, but... Yeah, your play was good too. If we played the Reaver and then howled, our life total was at a sizable enough point. It would have worked out a lot better, for sure. Because our opponent would be at 20, and then we'd have 2 Graveborn Gluttons that would probably not be lethal. Ooh, that's something to keep in mind. My opponent also has the Bone Scythe Reaver. My opponent's also going to have Epidemic and Patron of Tarsus back in their deck. I think the one thing that's saving us, think about how many Spirit Torrents are in my opponent's deck right now. This is player level 6. My opponent then has a 35 card deck. That's pretty insane. We get to Necroflay and Infernal Visage. No, that's 2 off lethal. We definitely Necroflay, though. Puts my opponent down to 4, and I'll just play a Witherfrost Succubus. So we're in Glutton range, but my opponent is also in Glutton range. And unless my opponent rolls a 12, and both of my triggers roll 4s. So there's a chance. My opponent has to roll exactly 12, and we have to roll exactly 2 4s. So that is a... what is that? There's 9 different possible rolls for Glutton. So that is a 1 in whatever 9 to the 3rd is. 81 times 9. 1 in 700 chance. Cool. Little risky, but worked out. Player level 6 with all these games. These are... Yeah, it was definitely risky. I figured putting a good thing out on the board was good, but I did miss the play of Reaver clear their board into Howl. I will also be honest, I'm not the hugest fan of Howl. I generally don't cast it unless it's lethal. We'll just level Patron of Tarsus. Turns out that card's insane. I didn't think too much about the lane placement there, but I might have done it correctly. Grimgaunt Warriors, Scourge Knights. There's some interesting things going on here now. Alright, that is a positive battle that we can finish off with either Deathseeker or Scourge Knights. I will opt for the Scourge Knights, obviously. See, I think I flipped this battle. But then, do I even want to play Grimgaunt Warrior? Was Grimgaunt Warrior better than Zithian Crusher? Yeah, I think it was. Just barely, but... Oops. Alright, and we'll do some trade-offs there. This was obviously the downside of not playing Zithian Crusher. I don't have anything for my Abyssal Maul to trigger off of. Yeah, it's not great. Looks like my opponent's going to suit up a Spring Dryad and Stegodon for the trade. Oh no, they are going to power up the Stegodon. That's a good play by them there then. So Abyssal Maul can trade, and then Vyric Ebon Skull can kind of pressure their life, or their, what am I trying to say? Just pressure them with the trigger. Yeah, we'll do that, rather than... Spite Sower might be a little bit better on the board, but I'm not super worried about their board. We've got Grave Packs if their stuff gets out of hand. We've got Bone Scythe Reaver on the level up. Even Graveborn Glutton can kind of take this stuff down. We can go Abyssal Brute, Graveborn Glutton, likely finish off their stuff. We can also Grave Pact to force in the Vyric Ebon Skull. And then once we do that, he'll trigger, kill the other Spring Dryad. Alright, so that's an 8. So yeah, what I could do is just Bone Scythe Reaver to level Bone Scythe Reaver, Grave Pact, sacrifice that, kill Bright Tusk Sower. I'll kill one of their Spring Dryads right here. And yeah, it'll just kill it 50-50 to get the bigger one. Leaves no damage on Vyric Ebon Skull, and then maybe we can do it again next turn. Doesn't level Graveborn Glutton or Abyssal Brute, but I think Bone Scythe Reaver is going to be the more relevant card to level here. So let's get those out of the way and kill that Spring Dryad. Very nice. Very nicely done. Good work, Vyric. And here we have another Vyric, and we've got the Bone Scythe Reaver to answer the last Spring Dryad, or, even better, to answer the creature that my opponent blocks Vyric with. Okay, Venom Fang, and that's going to finish off Vyric, and there's nothing we can do about that one. So, that's going to put an end to those fun games here. We'll leave around a 6-1 for the time being. I'm going to positive battle and kill Spring Dryad and Vyric in the side lane. We've got the Grave Pact to make Vyric trigger once again, and I think we'll go for that. Don't really have any other plays here that I'm looking at. Yeah, this card's pretty strong. They're going to have the Venom Fang, so that is going to be a little bit unfortunate. Maybe they throw the Venom on this? Nah. Wishful thinking, but we will still go for it. We can trade off boards if we sacrifice this. That guarantees that we kill the Spring Dryad as well. So, yeah, that's reasonable. We'll kill the Spring Dryad here. So now we're like slightly ahead on board, but not really. We used up most of our good tools in the deck, though we do have Patron of Tarsus. We still have one Grave Pact. My opponent's going to get to start playing level 2 Spring Dryads now, and they don't have to block this. They could have just battled and then played cards post-combat, and they wouldn't have taken any damage. Instead, they're going to sacrifice a free Kataru Sprite. No, they're just going to put some damage on their Pterodon Mauler. Well, maybe they wanted to grow Pterodon Mauler anyways. That's fine. Patron of Tarsus will not quite punish them for that. We're just going to go here. We'll figure out how to deal with Pterodon Mauler later. And I'll play Abyssal Maw, even though that just means they're going to replace Kataru Sprite anyways. And all spell hands to go around with Scourge Knights once again. That is pretty unfortunate. Yeah, it's pretty unlucky. We didn't draw either of our 2 Death Seekers that I was hoping to draw, nor did we draw the other Abyssal Maw, all of which would have finished off Pterodon Mauler over here. But this is fine, no matter. We can do some crazy shit like Infernal Visage. Don't really have any other good plays. Like Necroflay, Trade. Yeah, I'm just going to Infernal Visage. No great plays here, but we'll just do this one. It gives us a 10-4 mediocre creature. But yeah, just no great plays there. Nothing too great here either. We've got some good cards in the deck. Obviously, we're leaning hard on Vyric, Bone Scythe, and Grave Pact, as well as Patron of Tarsus. Snowdrift Alpha. That is quite the card. And then a Stegodon, which won't get its rank up trigger. Let's go... Let's block like this just to play around like +1/+1 effects that my opponent could have. Let's just trade off my cards and deal my opponent some damage. Turns out we didn't have to do that at all, but also turns out that my opponent's dogs that they're going to get here aren't going to mean anything, as they will all die to Patron of Tarsus, as will Snowdrift Alpha. So nothing my opponent is doing here is too threatening. We get to Patron of Tarsus. If they don't replace Kataru, which they do, so well played by them. And are they going to make some alphas? Yes, they will. So how do we want to block with Patron? We kind of want Patron to take some damage so that Grimgaunt Warrior might be able to grow. Yeah, I suppose so. Puts us in an awkward position if we draw Scourge Knights again, but we're pretty unlikely to draw all spells with Scourge Knights. There's only 3 spells in the deck, so it's actually impossible. Let's play Patron of Tarsus and Grimgaunt Warrior in center lane. Bone Scythe Reaver is pretty good. We also have Abyssal Maw, if my opponent doesn't play any level 2 creatures. Thinking my opponent's going to put a level 2 right here, or a level 1, and then something big right here. Oh, they go for that. Well, that's going to eat this and put a lot of damage on their guy. And then we get to eat this with Bone Scythe Reaver. So that's about as good of a play that we would ask for from our opponent here. And then we can just, like, Abyssal Maul to finish us off post-combat. Seems pretty good, too. Battle. And are we going to rank up? No, we're not. We'll just level Abyssal Maul and put it in front of Bramblewood Tracker there. What's an abomination? Oh, shit! This is an abomination. Well, I think I fucked that play up then. I did not realize Bone Scythe Reaver was an abomination. That's my fault. We left ourselves no good plays for Scourge Knights, so that's pretty good once again. Alright, and then finally the Spring Dryad for my opponent. Kataru Sprite is going to go there, immediately get removed, and that is a almost positive battle. It's a trade, though. What can we do here? Scourge Knights for -6/-6. You can kill off both of my opponent's Kataru sprites, which I think I actually want to do. And then just... So I would just be replacing Abyssal Maw with Scourge Knights post-combat. Or I could get in this damage and overwrite. I think I want to kill off Kataru sprites so that Spring Dryad isn't a problem. I mean, it already is a problem. 1 toughness is awkward against a Utara deck, but... Could also level up to see Brood Queen. No, let's play an Abyssal Brute. Just gonna take out that. That's arguably worse than just, like, putting Shrinks on the Spring Dryad. Obviously, we got super rewarded by drawing Bone Scythe Reaver here, but this is a reasonable play. Alright, opponent goes Spring Dryad for the trade. We're gonna take a bunch of damage here. And Snowdrift Alpha. Can we not finish off Snowdrift? No, we can't. Okay. We can finish off Snowdrift if we want. We play Bone Scythe Reaver first, killing Snowdrift, and then we play Frankenbomb. Puts it down to 3. And deal 9. So my opponent would have to play 4 creatures next turn to have Spring Dryad survive. Let's do that. Oh, my opponent actually can't make it survive. I forgot we were getting 2 Abyssal Brute triggers, so my opponent would have to play 5 creatures to make Spring Dryad survive. That's going to be pretty difficult. They would have to do, like... I mean, they could Phytobomb plus play something else. They could make a bunch of plays that would all work out pretty well for us, is the ultimate point here. We are not going to wind up with an A-Bomb if we want to play Grimgaunt Warrior. But both of these things die to so much, so easily. So what if we just played Grimgaunt Warrior and then we played Dr. Frankenbaum here? That seems good. Alright. Yeah, we're only going to take 6 here from this play. And we get to pump up the jams. Definitely some awkward stuff has happened so far with... And then another level 3 creature do they have? Oh gosh. Well, that's going to be a positive battle for us still. Oh no, it's not, because this guy didn't die. He trades. So if I give this -6, -6, we clean it up. But it's not the prettiest play. What else can we do? Can we give this -5, -5? We can. We can give it -5, -5. That seems like... No. It's not. We'll go Scorch Knights. So it puts this guy down to a 12/12. Our guy's going to get +4/+4. It dies to a level 2. Patron of Tarsus will wipe up my opponent's board. And then I'm not sure what we're going to do. Patron of Tarsus is a really, really dumb card. And then do they replace it? They do with a Stegodon. And the Kataru's going to go over there and... I guess we have to Necroflay. Yeah, let's Necroflay. I think that's the best option. Alright, so we're ahead on board for the first time in a long time. My opponent is going to have Spring Dryads in their deck. Can this deck win before player level 6, I wonder? That's the question. Our opponent's at 39. They're blocking with a Spring Dryad. I can't imagine that's going to work out well for them. 15-15. It survives. We go Frankenbaum for the positive battle. Abyssal Maul this just to clear it out. And then don't play Grave Pact. Yeah, seems like the play. Maybe Abyssal Maul should have got the positive battle on the Aetherwolf here, because then that takes more damage. We could have pushed through damage here by sacrificing Frankenbaum, hitting them for 2, or sacrificing Abyssal Maul. I guess we would have hit them for 14, hit them for 16. Yeah, maybe we would have looked into plays like that, because those things will start adding up. Alright, we get to Bone Scythe Reaver, whatever Bramblewood Tracker creates. Then we have Vyric Ebon Skull. It's reasonably lucky. Just Virek, Ebonskull, open lane. We get to hit our opponent for 29 here. Yeah, we just play a bunch of open lane shit. That should be pretty good. I could have also put Virek, Ebonskull right here, and then when my opponent... when they dealt damage, it meant that I would only have to get like a -3/-3 to finish off Bramblewood Tracker. One Virek Ebonskull hit is clearly lethal, but we're also at a point in the game where just dealing my opponent damage is pretty likely to be lethal. That's a pretty good play for my opponent. Oh shit, alright. Well, they're doing stuff. They hit the 50-50. Oh wait, they hit the 50-50, but they take 10 and 10. Oh yeah, they lose. Alright, so we can just hit the battle button here. And that is GG. We won before player level 6. It's a miracle. That makes this deck 3-0. Let's see if we can get it. Get it to the Greek over here. This deck is quite the heart clencher. It's all of these games have been super close, and I've really only won as a result of continually drawing Patron of Tarsus. Patron of Tarsus, is that the new OP confirmed most powerful card in Mono Faction Draft? It's been seeming really, really strong, I have to say that. Alright, let's end it strong. This is going to be our last game of the day here for the stream. Alrighty, here we go. Mono Faction Draft Finals. Let's just lead off with Virek Ebonskull, I think. Guy's got solid stat lines, even if his ability doesn't trigger. And I'll throw him in a side lane. We've got a bunch of Infernal Visages in the deck that can work out. We can Bone Scythe Reaver and then play Abyssal Maul, which is an abomination. We can play some solid heroics, or we could play like Bone Scythe and Brood Queen. Not sure. Not sure what we'll want to go with here. Think of a good play. So what factions make us want to play Bone Scythe Reaver? I think the card that makes me want to play Bone Scythe Reaver the most is Trackers and Shapers. So if my opponent plays one of those two things, then we know that Bone Scythe Reaver is going to be active late into the game. My opponent throws a Herd Mother on there. They're offering up a trade. That's a pretty nice offer from my opponent. Might want to take them up on that. Could also just Abyssal Maul this shit and then I don't have to deal with it. That kind of sounds good too. But then I'm not playing Brood Queen. So what if we just play Brood Queen and then Bone Scythe Reaver? We kind of ditch Abyssal Maul there. But Brood Queen is plenty powerful. And is hard-gated, so let's play Brood Queen. Then we're going to play Bone Scythe Reaver and offer the trade here with the Spirit Stone Druids. We're going to trade off with Herd Mothers, and that will be fine as well. Grimgaunt Warrior. Does that leave us with any interesting plays? It might. You go Grimgaunt Warrior. Yeah, there's some interesting things Grimgaunt Warrior can do here. We also have Abyssal Brutes and Graveborn Gluttons. We're going to want to level the Graveborn Gluttons. The goal is to win this game before player level 6. For those of you guys just joining us, every game so far. They've all been very sweet games, but fall on to player level. One went to player level 5. The other two both went to player level 6. And were super tight Necreum mirror matches. This deck is definitely slow, and you've got to thank for that a lot of cards other than Graveborn Glutton. Like, we looked at the last hand. We've got this guy. We've got this thing. We've got so many cards with low power and high toughness. So my opponent plays a 7/7. That's not going to be good enough. Then a Roaming Warclaw to threaten the Brood Queen state. So I guess we want to play Grimgaunt Warrior and Graveborn Glutton. And I'll keep Brood Queen around. Maybe that'll make my opponent have to play some other weird cards. I'll just level Grimgaunt Warrior and Graveborn Glutton, I think. I could have also leveled Abyssal Brute. Oh, maybe that would have been better considering I'm going to grow my guy so big here. But I think this is like a reasonably threatening board position too. Patron of Tarsus. Holy shit. Every time with this draft, if there is one theme, it's that Patron of Tarsus is just insane. Every time it even looks like I'm remotely in an awkward position on board, I draw Patron of Tarsus and can just immediately claw my way back into it. I will say, Shardplate Behemoth, if there's any card in Solforge that is my enemy, it is Shardplate Behemoth. And right now it is just taunting at me. It's just looking me in the face. It's just throwing those leaves at me and it is just taunting me. Fuck you, Shardplate Behemoth. Sincerely, no luck's given. Fuck you. You can keep doing that all day, dude. I don't care. Come at me. Come at me, dude. I hate this card so much. This card made me quit the game once before. And the stats on it used to just be absolutely bonkers. I still think this card is way too good, and I've lost to it in draft just a stupid amount of times. It's still just going off. What the hell is it doing? Alright, finally, it's settled down. We can play Patron of Tarsus, and we can shrink Swamp Moss Ancient. That's going to let us trade off boards here. What can we do? I think we just leave this thing stick around. We'll grab we'll grab some shit and we'll deal with it later. I don't care. Fuck you, Shardplate Behemoth. Alright, so the other play we could make would be to kill Grove Huntress so that our Grimgaunt Warrior sticks around. We would go Patron center lane, Scourge Knight here, both shrinking Grove Huntress. Scourge Knight would die. This would turn into an 8/5. Let's just trade off battlefields here. That's still going to leave me with a Patron of Tarsus and a Graveborn Glutton. I don't need any more than that. Let's see. I could keep my opponent with a 6/2. You know, if I was going to do that, I should have played it here on the Shardplate Behemoth, just to shrink that a little bit more. Though that wouldn't have grown the Grimgaunt Warrior. Let's trade off. We already have one big monster that we've got to deal with. Let's just deal with that for now. Got Deathseeker Grave Pact, which is a pretty sweet combo. That's going to let us kill Shardplate Behemoth and finally lay it to rest. The level 2 of it is also strong. It's a 13/13. And the level 3 of it is also strong. This is supposed to be like a drawback. Look at it. It's a drawback. It's if you shrink its health, it shrinks its attack too. Such a fucking dumbass drawback. Alright, my opponent has Stygian Lotus to clean up our remaining board. And then Stag of Lys. I will just go Death Seeker, attempt to trade there. If they have a combat trick, that's fine. And we'll take out Sharkplate Behemoth, leveling Grave Pact. I think we're back in it. We drew Patron of Tarsus, which means we're going to win the game anyways. That'll clean up this plant, and then we can just play an 8/8 to trade with whatever level 2 my opponent plays. But, still, I'm already miffed. My opponent's level 2 creature might turn out to be... Like, so that's the thing. If you... I guess it's just equal to its attack. Like, if you give a Shardplate Behemoth -3/-3, it should actually get... Like, the -3 should matter. Alright, and they do go for a combat trick there that turns out to be irrelevant. I will just play Patron of Tarsus. It's going to shrink this down into a 1/1. Sure, I'll eat it with Scourge Knights. So if you give a Shardplate Behemoth -3 attack, it should actually register. It's actually like a beneficial ability. It's not even a drawback. It just has like a beneficial ability on it. And it winds up not being enough right now in Constructed, because in Constructed there's just so many answers. But I've just had so many drafts that I've been like 6-0 in and then lose to some dumb shit like that. Alright, so what's going to deal more damage? This is going to deal 1 to 4 damage, and this is just going to deal 4 damage immediately. So we'll put Frankenbomb on the Stag, and then Graveborn Glutton on a side lane here. We don't have to worry about Scourge Knights, so we do it okay. We're going to take some damage. We're going to have an Abyssal Maul as well. That's pretty sweet. Yeah. Our opponent is also gaining life with their stags here. Yeah, fuck you, Shardplate Behemoth. Opponent is gaining life with their stags. Where's that going? That's just going on Shardplate Behemoth. Fine. Whatever. See if I care. Alright, so let's go Grimgaunt Warrior side lane. And let's play Abyssal Maul to give Shardplate Behemoth -7/-7. But look, it's got a drawback. We're going to deal 4 damage to it, and then it's going to be a 9/9. Yeah, but I just traded a level 1 creature, a good level 1 creature, into a level 2, and it's still a fucking 9/9. Now, I know they pumped it up, which just kind of negates half of my level 1 creature, but still. Shit's dumb, dude. We are going to be able to take it out with Dr. Frankenbaum here, and that'll grow the Grimgaunt Warrior. So, I guess I shouldn't complain, but what's the drawback? I still don't see the drawback here. I won't complain, though. I just get salty when I lose to this card because it is... I mean, this card just has single-handedly beaten me in draft multiple times, but luckily this deck's pretty powerful. We've got the Patron of Tarsus, and we've got some Grave Pacts, which I think I've got a newfound respect for Grave Pact. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe when this card was originally in alpha, it was just hard-gated. It was sack a creature, destroy a level 1, sack a creature, destroy a level 2, sack a creature, destroy a level 3, and there was none of this free business. The fact that it is soft-gated at level 2 and then becomes free means that it's a much more powerful card now. And Ursine Strength. Alright, dude. Whatever you say. So, we've got an interesting position here. We can Frankenbomb, block it, and then Graveborn Glutton block it. So the benefit of that would be we get to keep around a Graveborn Glutton. But I'm fine just keeping around Dr. Frankenbaum. I think this will work out well, too. Trade these off. We're getting some damage in. We've got 2 big creatures hitting my opponent, even if they block with 2 level 3s. We Patron of Tarsus, we clean the field. And then we... I don't know. Probably just play an Abomination. I can't imagine anything my opponent has is going to survive what we're doing here. Though, I guess this will survive. And maybe if they play a level 2 here, it'll survive as well. Savage Oath 3 is definitely something to worry about, but I don't really think we've got to worry about much at all. My opponent hasn't been able to keep a creature on the battlefield that isn't Shardplate Behemoth, and they've got to worry about their life total now. Their life total's super low. They're going to lose their entire board to Patron of Tarsus plus Abyssal Maw here, so this should just be GG. We're going to hit my opponent for, like, 29 here, put them down to 11. Yeah. Well, I did that math wrong, but my opponent's at 7, so that'll be GG. That'll be a 4-0 mono Necrium draft. So, pretty sweet. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, hit that follow button on the stream, and also check out my YouTube for past stream highlights. I upload full streams there as well as highlights and send them around. What's up, Silvertail? I am just getting off here for the night, about to go eat some dinner. But thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, you did get here right at the very end, man. But that lets me do a quick plug for the YouTube to you. If, yeah, you kind of missed all the sweet monofaction goodness, but you can check it out on the YouTube, which you can find in the description in the panel below. I will be uploading this full stream as well as all of my full streams and highlights from games and drafts are up there. So once again, thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.